So thank you to everybody for being here. We welcome you to Report Out's Global Symposium to discuss LGBTQI plus human rights and development needs. My name is Ilya, and I'm a Sustainable Development Goals Officer at Report Out. So welcome to our online satellite event, of which a recording can be found on our YouTube channel in the next few weeks. Our hashtag Safer to Be Me Symposium is a partnership between Report Out and the University of Sunderland. It brings together global activists, practitioners and academics to discuss the most pressing issues facing global LGBTQI plus human rights and LGBTQI plus progress towards fulfilling the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We have a range of online Zooms prepared for you this week, and we hope that this will get you ready for our symposium launch and for the main event taking place next week on the 22nd of June in Sunderland. As part of our planning for Safer to Be Me, we wanted to offer some satellite events as online talks, so everyone can get involved in their own way and get excited about the symposium. There will be opportunities for you to watch the talks on the main day of the symposium via Zoom as well, so that nobody's missing out. And the link for tickets on the 22nd of June can be found on our website and will also be dropped in the chat box throughout this talk. We have a range of previous events on our YouTube channel as well for you to watch, with discussion panelists from nation states such as Mongolia, Ghana and the Cayman Islands. Or we've got talks on wider regional areas, such as South Asia, and historical talks as well, such as the Men in the Pink Triangle under Nazi Germany talk. So please do go ahead and check out the channel. Our donation link will also be dropped in the chat box at different intervals throughout the presentation. We are an entirely volunteer-led charity, so small charities like us can always do with your support, and your donation would go directly to the work that we do. So thank you in advance if anyone does donate. Joining us this evening is Raza from Pakistan. Raza is a young human rights activist who has been working for the human rights of all in Pakistan, particularly the rights of religious minorities, LGBTQ individuals and women. Currently, Raza is working on creating an inclusive and progressive LGBTQ organisation in Pakistan to tackle the legal fights for the rights of LGBTQ plus individuals and to channel the efforts of all Pakistani queer activists effectively. So I'll now hand over to Raza, who this evening will be talking about LGBTQI plus life in Pakistan.
So hello everyone, I'm Raza and I have been already introduced. So this is me waving the pride flag in Pakistan, and sorry I couldn't prepare very well for the presentation because I have an exam tomorrow, but I have prepared a little bit of the slides for you people. So I will just start my today's presentation by saying that by saying the statistics which I was talking about, that in every 45 seconds in such a progressive country like America, a youth try to commit suicide. I'm talking about LGBTQ youth in every 45 seconds. So imagine the level of depression, the anxiety, the pressure, and how it's like to live in a homophobic society like Pakistan or any such. I can't imagine the pain the queer people are facing. So let's start over today's presentation. So my presentation will be covering the four topics. First, I will cover what the Constitution of Pakistan says about the LGBTQ people. So in this, there are two major parts which we should discuss. Thanks to the British colonialization, we have Article 377, which criminalize homosexuality. and the imprison and it's anyone who two adults who are doing same-sex sexual activity in a consensual way, they can be charged with 10 years of imprisonment and a heavy fine. And then when the Islamization came in Pakistan in the time of a dictator named as Ziaul Haq, so in that era, we have a hudud ordinance, which you can say offense of adultery ordinance. So actually, it punish such acts with stoning by death or by death. So, but there is no such evidence that this law has been applied on LGBTQ people in Pakistan till today. So no one has been died by law, at least by law, but by the society or by the people, there are a lot of deaths which has been happened. So that was the what the constitution of the Pakistan says. So now let's come towards the next point of our presentation, which will be about the society. So in the next point, I will be discussing the societal situation of LGBTQ people in Pakistan, and then we will see that what are the public attitudes towards LGBTQ people, and we will also analyze the queer people or the in the lens of the class system in Pakistan. So before I start about this all thing, to understand our societal situation better, we should start with the history. So, as you know, Pakistan is a Muslim country, and in the Muslim world, I will say that homosexuality was not such a taboo in the Muslim world. If you see the history, queer Muslims or the queer people in the Muslim states have existed since a long time, and they have a respectable position in the Muslim societies. You can say a lot of we even see that a lot of poets or openly writing about homoerotic poetry or same-sex love and stuff like that. Uh, it all was possible at that time, but if anyone tries to do it in the 21st century, so it will be damn hard for them. And I will not say that Muslim in the Muslim society it was all good and very accepting. uh, there has been there always a fraction of extremists or the people who think it's wrong and all that things. I will not say that everything was just Muslim societies are so accepting and everything was fine for queer people, but I will say that it was pretty much liberal. And when now, if we come towards our, you can say the general, towards our specific region, the South Asian region, at that time, in the time of the Mughal era, the India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, these three countries were united under the Mughals. So Mughals were the Muslim rulers, and under the Mughal eras, we have seen uh, a lot of respectability of queer people in the society. We have seen Mughals have a lot of, you can say, a liberal approach towards the love, poetry, romance, and things like that. We see that the transgenders or the feminine boy has a special role in the courts of the kings. So in the South Asia, it was kind of acceptive. The queer identities were kind of acceptive in our South Asian community. But after the British came, the whole morality stuff and all the things came with them, and this Victorian morality has caused us a lot. It has pushed back us to the level that you can say that right now, when I see the situation of our countries, I'm just so terrified and I'm sometimes so hopeless that all I just want to do is to cry, and I don't know what is the solution, and how can we make you can say the queer community more safe. I don't know. So, I will say that, as I said, that the Muslim society or the Islam or any religion in per se was not always so quite accepting of the queer identities. So, right after the fall of the, I'm talking about some historical perspectives. So right after the fall of the Mutazila, in the after the golden ages of Islam, there has been a rise of the, you can say, radical and extremist and narrow-minded culture, which was far away from rationality and which was far away from knowledge and everything. And the leaders of such culture uh, are very much patriarchal, and they have grabbed the power by all means, and they have, you can say, said that the critical thinking is something anti-Islamic or satanic, something which we shouldn't do. So right now, and with the passage of the time, this thing has evolved and evolved, and in Pakistan and after the British era, everything has just gone worse, especially in the terms of the religious tolerance and acceptance. Everything has gone to a worse stage. Now, I will talk about if I talk about the Pakistani society, so it's very difficult to do justice. It's very difficult to do justice in the Pakistani society because uh, there is a lot of diversity in Pakistani society, and where I cannot generalize about the experiences of the queer people in Pakistan. Uh, there are so I have decided to make a little bit of classes to tell you a little bit about, to give you a glance of the queer experiences in Pakistan. So if we talk about our two provinces, the KPK and Balochistan, so these provinces are kind of more, you can say, radical type people or such people where in the 21st century we still have the system of, you can say, uh, a tribal chief or a person who decides for everyone in their tribe, and and they are living in such societies, in especially in the KPK, as KPK is the province which is adjacent with the Afghanistan border, and thanks to the combined efforts of the United States of America, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, we have created a virus with the name of Taliban's. We have funded a radical and an extremist interpretation of the religion, and we have created a virus which is now spreading everywhere. So the KPK and Balochistan are the areas which are kind of more affected by such cultural changes. So we have seen a lot of, you can say, these areas are extreme, a kind of more extremist type of areas, and are not safe for queer people, especially for the especially if you see the mentality of the men there. So it's very patriarchal, and you can say we have seen a lot of murder cases of LGBTQ people there. We have seen that if a person, he may be a gay person or a trans person who is doing sex work, you can say, or uh, who has been with some man of some power in the area. So if they don't obey them, they will murder them. uh, so such a mentality also exists in such areas, and it's very horrible that they consider the other person as their slave or as someone who has no dignity, and he or she or they should follow us, as we say, because they are just our sex slaves or something like that. So such mentalities also exist, and we have to tackle with such people also at one side. At on the other side, these people are, you can say, a little bit like, you can say, deviant or rebellion type people, that if they find something right, they will do it, and if they don't find something right, they will resist it. So many of the times they resist the government law and order situation, and they do whatever they want. We have seen such examples that they even don't pay the bills. They say we are not going to do this. They have such a lot of, you can say, weapons in their households. So anyways, this was the one extreme, and on the other extreme we have such liberal areas in Pakistan, which are more elite areas, where you can say there is a lot of liberation and everything. So talking about the other provinces of Pakistan, like Punjab and Sindh, so in these provinces the situation is very much better, uh, in sense in sense of religious tolerance. Not much better, because a lot of things happen there also. We even see murders in the name of honor killing. If you are aware of this term, honor killing. So honor killing is that a family kills uh, their daughter or their son if they marry without their consent. Sometimes this also happen. So if this happen with the straight couples, what we can expect for the queer people? So I will not say that in Punjab or Sindh the situation is much good, but in comparison to KPK and Balochistan, it's very good. And this is the overall general scenario. But I have just discussed the system with one perspective, which is with respect of the provinces or the areas. But if I talk about the experiences of the queer people with respect to class system, so in Pakistan, I will say that there are different classes. The elite class is the most open class, and you can say in Pakistan, if you have money and if you are elite, then you are out of the law. You can do anything, or of course to a limit, not so much openly, but of course to a limit. But the elite, in elite we see that the queer people are a bit more open, and they even have a lot of parties, functions and stuff like that, and it's happening everywhere in Pakistan in the elite society. Eh, and they are much open, and they are not so much religiously conservative. But if we talk about the middle or the upper middle class, so upper middle class are mostly, you can say, educated, and and they have a mixed reaction on these things. A lot of people have been raised in such an environment that they are religious, so of course they oppose such things. But a lot of people who are mature are neutral about it, and we are seeing a change of shift in the youth population. Youth is kind of more acceptive than the our previous generation, because uh, many years ago, I think so in 2008 or something like that, a survey happened that how much people will accept homosexuality in Pakistan, and only 2% people accepted it. So Pakistan was one of the most homophobic countries, with 98% people who said that it's not acceptable in our society. So right now we are seeing a lot of shift in the mentality of our youth, and I will say that the lower middle class are a bit more patriarchal, or are more influenced by our local system, by the religious leader. And I have seen a lot of queer kids who are queer, who are gay or bisexual or gender fluid or whatever. But the thing is, they can't accept their own identity because of the religious teachings, because of everything their society has tell them. They can't accept themselves. I have seen such example, and it's, believe me, it's such a hell to live in such a dogma when you are with an internal fight with oneself that no, it's wrong, I'm doing wrong, I'm wrong, something is wrong with me, I have to change. And I have seen people that they have been trying so much hard to be in the right path, which they consider the right path, because the religious teachings they have, or all the mentality they have, it's totally against. They don't have a open perspective. They don't have maybe most of the people don't have internet access. Most of the people never had such perspective that it's okay to be queer, it's natural, it's okay. So such people are mostly influenced by the society or by the general mentality of the people around them, and by the religious you can say leaders who have influenced them. Because in Pakistan, religion is such a big driving force. It's such an important part of every human's life in Pakistan. So so there is and I have seen a lot of people, queer people, who have tried to commit suicide, and who has started drugs because their life has lost the meaning, and they have just, you can say, and it's such a sad thing to see. And I have seen kids of 14 years using drugs and starting sex work and things like that. And it's such a horrible experience to see the queer youth destroying their lives because there is no one they can talk about, especially not their parents. They have the fear to be cast out of their families, and and uh, and to be, you can say, the society will not accept them, and a lot of pressure. And I'm sorry, where was I? Okay, sure. So I was just talking about the society system in the Pakistan, and how over. So I will say one more thing, that in Pakistan I have seen queer. If you accept yourself as a deviant person, and you may indulge in such activities, maybe people are a bit tolerant about it, until unless you are not threat to them, or until unless you are not demanding your rights, or until unless you are not demanding change in the system. If you accept yourself as a deviant person, or as a person who is wrong or who is doing something, so they may accept you, or may, you can say, a little bit allow you to do such criminal activities, because for them it's a criminal, or it's a bad activity. So that's a overall situation. Now I will move towards our next and the third part, which is the hate campaigns that has recently been launched against the LGBTQ community in Pakistan, and the Transgender Protection Act 2018, which has been enacted in 2018, and now it has been, you can say, snatched off from us. So I will briefly discuss it. I also have to see how much time I have. Okay, I have time. Okay, so now we will start our third topic. So first, I will say that in 2018, the Transgender Protection Act come. So whenever I am using the terminology transgender, so just keep in mind I'm referring to the people who are transgender, who are intersex, and who are non-binary, because in Pakistan these all people came under the umbrella term of Pajasra, and mostly we have used the term trans people for them in our cultural way. So the act was also named as Transgender Protection Act, but it ensures the right of transgender people, and the and the intersex people, and the non-binary people. And this was one of the most progressive acts around the world, believe me. And Pakistan has accepted the concept of the self-perceived gender identity. The important term is self-perceived, and then gender identity. So Pakistan accepted that anyone, any person can identify himself or herself or themselves as per their own self-perceived gender identity. They have to go to the national registration branch in Pakistan, and they have to register their national card uh, with the gender they want to be, they are okay with. So it was the general idea, and it also ensured that there will be no discrimination against trans people. They will be given the education right, they will be given job opportunities and everything, because in Pakistan the intersex and the trans people are living just by doing sex work and such stuff, and they are not considered as a respectable people in Pakistan. So they live under their own colonies, their separate societies or their colonies. So that was the general. But after this act, the government has tried their best to make them in the mainstream. But then came the, you can say, the extremist or the other portion of Pakistan which don't like anything like this. And there was one of the main forces behind this were the religious conservative forces, and they were in all parties. Such mentality exists in all the political parties, not only in one, but all political parties have some liberal people, some conservative and extremist, every type of people. So the main political party which started which started the main campaign against this transgender act was Jamaat Islami, and some other conservative parties. So they petitioned in the Shariat court. Actually, Shariat court is a court which is the Islamic court in the Pakistan, which sees that if any provision is against the rules of Islam or any act, then they will recommend the Supreme Court or Parliament to change it. So that's a federal Shariat court. So they challenged this act in the federal Shariat court and claimed it as un-Islamic. And in the meanwhile, while this act was being then there was a whole, then they started the whole, you can say, social media campaigns, telling people that it's a Western agenda and it's an LGBTQ agenda. They are trying to uh, make a ground for LGBTQ in Pakistan and stuff like that. And they then started to target the activists, LGBTQ activists, and making videos about them and telling the world that look at them and this and that, and a whole fledged hate campaign has been started. And thanks to them, a good thing which happened is that the local community also get aware of this term LGBTQ. Otherwise, many people don't know. But the sad thing was that a lot of hate has been created among the people by such religious. And then there was such you can say social media platforms like Youth Club and other such platforms which has also started a full-fledged documentaries and campaigns against LGBTQ. So the main thing was that they cannot accept this idea uh, that homosexuality is allowed. The main thing they hate was the homosexuality. They said that this act also enables homosexuals to get married. But that's a long discussion that how they came to this and all the technical difficulties in the law and everything. We don't have so much time to discuss those things. But the main thing they hate is that homosexuality, and they always refer to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. So let me tell you all people that story of Sodom and Gomorrah was about the people who has done the worst type of human right abuses in the history. They have started raping men. They have started raping the women. They have started robbing. They have started pedophilia. They have started a whole fledge of, you can say, women rights violation, and a lot of things were happening there. And you are comparing a lot of their evils. You are comparing the rape of men with a consensual love relation between two men. So the God just condemned these acts, that such rape, such violations of human right is not acceptable. And they said that God has condemned the Sodom and Gomorrah, the people of the Lut. So we should so they said that it's just homosexuality, and they haven't even know the whole historical context of the story, and they have started hate campaigns that God don't allow homosexuality. It was about rape. It was not about same-sex love. It was about rape. So let me come again to the point which I was saying is then finally recently the in the last month in May, the Senate has said, but let me share you some more things before I go there. So during this thing are happening, the hate campaign again by the conservative uh, religious parties and the, you can say, social media influencers. The Senate of Pakistan was also not being so good. The Standing Human Rights Committee, the word is Human Rights Committee of the Senate, was totally against this act. They have perceived it un-Islamic, and one of the senators said that I asked Allah for forgiveness when this bill was passed. I was in the house. Transgender persons are not uniques but homosexual, so they cannot be protected. So as if that homosexuals are not human, so they cannot be protected according to this person. So he said that the amendment should be made in the law as soon as possible, or the more the delay, the more the wrath of Allah. So such the mentality, if such a mentality is existing in the educated and in the representative community of the Pakistan, in the Senate of Pakistan, so what we can hope about the queer safety in Pakistan? Similarly, recently our educational minister, the Minister of Education, has written to the Cambridge University about one of their book, one of their sociology book, in which there was a chapter about same-sex family. So he has written that it's not acceptable in Pakistan and stuff like that. I can't believe if the people who are who is a person of who is an education minister has such mentality. So what is the level of the, you can say, I don't have words to describe it. Okay, so then I will come to the Standing Human Committee of the Senate said that the Transgender Act should be changed and stuff like that. So these are some of their provisions which they have concluded. And on the meantime, when the Senate has decided to change this act recently, the Islami Shariat Court, the Federal Shariat Court, has ruled recently in the a few day in the previous month that this act is against Islam, and the idea that someone can perceive themselves according to they have completely denied this gender dysphoria and all the scientific, you can say, development which has been made on this. They have denied the science of gender dysphoria and everything. They said that a person who has been assigned the whatever genitals he or she has at birth, they will decide his or her gender, nothing else. So that was one of the sad part. I know my time is approximately ending, and I'm going to end my discussion here very soon. We are also seeing a question. We will answer the questions later. Please just give me 1 minute. So, okay, so that was something about over Transgender Act. So right now it has been snatched. Federal Sharia Court has decided, and the Standing Human Rights Committee of the Senate has also decided that it's against Islam and we have to change it. So now we are going to change it. And there is no such thing as now self-perceived gender identity or anything. Now there will be a medical board which will examine your genital part. If you are an intersex person by birth, you have you can say incomplete body, then only they will see that if you are more inclined, your genitals are more inclined towards men or towards women, and they will assign you male or female accordingly. So you don't have any such choice right now. So I hope so those people who have studied the science of gender dysphoria can understand the flight of the people right now, that how much they have to suffer now. Okay, now the last point is about the problems which the LGBTQ activists are facing and where our queer community is heading. First thing I will say that on the general grounds, most of the human rights activists in Pakistan are not inclusive. If you see the feminist organizations, I have seen feminist organizations which are, you can say, which will just talk about women rights, but they will not talk about the rights of LGBTQ people. So, but I have seen such feminist movements where LGBTQ people are welcome. So I am not saying that it's all dull and black. I am saying that there is a huge chunk of portion which is ultra conservative, which has ultra conservative mentality. So the general human rights activists are not so much inclusive. And if I come towards the LGBTQ activists, so the main problem they face is that we live in such a society which is so much horrible to minorities. We live in such a society where if you claim openly to support the LGBTQ community, then you even can get murdered. We have seen such examples like in Bangladesh, two activists were murdered by the religious or fanatic mobs. So we have seen a lot of people has been murdered in Pakistan on the basis of religious disagreements. So why will they don't murder us? So the main thing is we cannot be openly discussing about our rights. But yeah, there are people like the trans people has been in the mainstream now. So it's okay for trans people, it's kind of okay to talk, and it's kind of acceptable because we have a long history of acceptance of trans people in different ways. So trans people or the intersex people are kind of accepted in our society, and they are talking, they have their organizations working, and a lot of queer people are also working with such organizations. But the thing is that especially to talk about the homosexuality or talk about the lesbians, gays, bisexuals, such people, it's such a taboo that if you are going to talk about it, you are going to have a huge backlash. So it's one of the main problem for us that and the second thing is our community, our own people are not so much educated. A lot of the people, you can say that has Pakistan is the second country in the world who has the largest population of the kids out of school. So you can imagine that a lot of people are from the background community, their mentality is different. So not everyone is, you can say, a lot of people in our own community are not ready to fight for the rights, and they even may consider it wrong, although they are queer, but may consider it wrong. So we have not only to deal with our own community, but we have also to deal with the uh, these other communities. But I will say that future is going to be promising, because sooner or later we will get our rights, and the society is changing. The world is shifting towards a global, you can say, a global village. Like now there is an internet availability, and there is a cultural exchange now from all around the world. We see that cultural influence the other cultures. So we have seen a lot of shift in our educated community, and we are expecting more and more from our younger generations. We have seen a lot of potential in our younger LGBTQ youth, and I'm hopeful that things are going in better direction. Also, they are very slow. Although they are very slow, and I will say that revolution always needs some sort of sacrifices or maybe some blood sometime. So I will say that in Pakistan things are very slow because we haven't seen so much sacrifices right now, or people are too afraid to risk their lives. But system is changing, and slowly we are getting more and more acceptability with the passage of time. So I will end my discussion and I will ask the question, and I will open for the question and answer session by ending my discussion on this quote that Asma Jahangir once said, everything in Pakistan is risk. If you defend women, it's a risk. If you defend non-Muslim, it's a risk. If you defend religion, it's a risk. But you cannot really sit there like a vegetable in your own society. And I'm committed to my society, and I feel to turn around and speak as I should. And I will end my discussion by this quote that if you are not free to be yourself in the most important of all the human activities, that is the love, the expression of love, then life itself loses its meaning. So don't be so much horrible to your own community. I have this message for Pakistan, that don't be so much horrible to your own people. No, thank you so much. That's all from my side, and now I will let you people to ask questions and I will answer them.
Thank you so much, Raza. This was really, really fascinating. We've got a good few questions coming in from the audience. So the first one I've got is from Ali Raza Khan. They say, Raza, you have been doing great work. Best wishes from Ali. He's from Multan, a HIV positive he's a gay person leading a community group. He wants to ask you how you think community groups can work for better efforts in Pakistan. And are there any opportunities for LGBTQI groups in Pakistan to come on a platform even after all of these issues?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a great question, and I will say there is also one more question before Ali Raza Khan. That's from an anonymous attendee, and I will also answer that one. But let's come first for the Ali Raza Khan. So Ali Raza, I don't know you, but maybe I'm hoping to get in contact with you. And the thing you asked is very important, and I am working on it right now, and I feel the dire need for it, for to make local groups, community groups, for us to support each other and to start, you can say, a revolution, and to collectively think that what we can do and how we can. And yes, there is a lot of opportunity for that, and there are a lot of people who are willing to do this. You know, a lot of people under the blanket of this AIDS are working for the gay peoples. Like I have seen the Hamras society and such societies who are working for the males who have sex with males, for their health, for the HIV and stuff like that. So yes, we should make such groups, and I will appreciate you if you get in contact with me through share your contact with the organization or with me in person. You can send me a message, and I will get in contact with you.
We can facilitate that if
Yeah.
Ali wants to get in contact, and we can pass over the details.
Yeah, and I'm working on this thing, and I think so that's a dire need of us right now to make a platform for us, a collective groups in the big cities especially. And there is an anonymous attendee who asked, with such hostility in Pakistan, how do you proceed as an activist in advocating LGBTQ right? So I will say that it's very hard. It's, believe me, but I am done being feared. I have lived my life under depression, under so much fear, and I've literally wasted my whole day is just being crying and just keeping myself locked up in a room and not talking with anyone. But I think so, as long as I live, I'm committed to my society and I have to speak up. Enough is enough. We can't deal with this more. So let me share you one example. The pride flag which I have posted in my first, I was in Karachi, and when I waved the pride flag, I actually got a homophobic attack. And sadly, this attack was from no one else but from one of our own community member. She was a trans activist and a renowned trans activist who who used this opportunity to say that to just secure their own people goodwill, to prove to, you can say, secure this Transgender Protection Act 2018. They want to prove that it's not un-Islamic, and they want to show the world that we have nothing to do with homosexuality. So she lashed out on me that you are Western and you are dash and dash, and you have nothing to do with us, with the trans people. So I have seen such things also. Okay, there are more questions. Anonymous attendee is saying, what's the one big challenge in 2023 to tackle for the positive change? I think for 2023 for the queer community of Pakistan, if you are referring, so personally for me, as far as I have observed, the big challenge is to get the people united under one umbrella to start an organization, and it's a hard work, and we need to work a lot on it, and we have to gather people, and we have to make a group in such a way that we don't come in the eyes of the law and enforcement agencies. Okay, then there is another question. Okay, I'm getting so much questions. What your
Would you like me
religious
to read it
narrative?
out? Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, just give me 1 minute.
I can read it out for you if you like.
It's okay. Yes.
Okay.
What's your religious narrative about LGBTQ? What you observe and predict the future of LGBTQ in Pakistan? People will accept it or not? We know that in Pakistan there is a significant chunk involved in LGBTQ but not openly express it. It's a hypocrisy. What are your views? First of all, one thing I agree, we are a hypocrite nation. And if you want to survive in the system of Pakistan, number one thing you have to learn is to be hypocrite. And believe me, I couldn't do this till now. I don't know how people can be so hypocrite about themselves. Believe me, they are just at one time they are doing everything wrong. I have seen people doing bribery, doing taking a lot of black money, but on the front they are just like so much pious people and who are following the religion and stuff like that. So you said that what's my views about the religious views about the LGBT. So my personal views are that God has created people like this. If you study all the scientific reports and research article, you will find out that how the chemical changes, how our brain development and certain parts of our brain are different than the normal straight people, and how the genetics play a role in it, in our sexuality. So all this stuff and the things are that, and it has been proven that sexuality cannot be changed and it's not a choice. So one thing is clear, that nature or God, whatever you prefer, has created us like this, and it's okay to accept us as we are. And if you talk about the with an Islamic perspective, then I will say that in with respect to Islamic perspective or with respect to Christianity, mostly they refer about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. So I have explained it, what Quran says. It just condemn the rape. It don't condemn the same-sex loving relation. It also condemn the worst human right violations happening there, especially with the women, with the men who are getting raped. women who are getting raped and the people who are getting robbed. So there is a lot of worse things they are doing, not one, a lot of things. So that's what God condemned. God didn't condemn two people to love each other. In fact, there are such passages in Quran which you can say clearly mention about such people who are not straight. Quran says that there are such men who have no affection for women. So who are they? Either they are asexuals or they are gays. We have a lot of things to discuss. There are a lot of books on queer Muslim identities. If you want me to refer you, I will refer you. One of them is The Homosexuality in Islam by Scott Sirajul Haq Kugal. It is one of the most good book. You should read it. And then there is Homosexuality in the other book, whatever, I forget its name. So, anyways, I will share these books if anyone want them to read. Okay. And then you also asked what you observe and predict the future of LGBTQ. So people will accept. One thing I'm working on is that, look, if we need to, people eventually will accept it one way or another. I have seen a lot of people leaving religion, a lot of queer people, because of this, because their religion is not acceptive of their identity, so they have left it. uh, so time is changing. Either they have to accept it, or they will lose the support of such people, because how much time they until when they remain suffering. So what I predict about the future of LGBTQ, I will say that we have to, first of all, we have to work on ourselves on. We have to create a platform to work on our own community, to educate our own community at one side. On the other side, we have to educate the people, because homophobia or LGBTQ phobia in general has one solution, one cure, that's education. We have to educate them, we have to tell them, and we have to work to eradicate the extremist religious interpretations. So I'm also working on this project to introduce more inclusive Islamic interpretations in Pakistan, so that people can be less horrible to each other, and to counter the patriarchal and the extreme interpretations of Islam, which has been funded by US, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. By the way, funded by US mainly. Pakistan was the main exporter to produce them. So such religious interpretations which has been produced especially to create Taliban and to tackle the Russian invasion and to fight one superpower with another. They have destroyed a lot of lives and a lot of peoples by creating a virus and without creating antidote for the virus. So I will say we have to really work hard to eradicate, or to give the counter and more inclusive religious interpretations to such people.
Perfect. That's all the questions and answers. Henrik says you elaborated your views well, and he hopes that things get better in your country, and we all support it. That's been really, really insightful, Raza. Thank you
Thank you so
for
much.
being part of the symposium, and take care.
Thank you so much. You too.